Good morning, children. I hope you all are safe and healthy at home. So, this is a special classes which have been set up by our school so that staying at home, staying healthy, you can still continue with the classes. So, I will be taking your chemistry class. First of all, I'll let you know the syllabus which is assigned for the unit test 1. So, we have 2 chapters. Language of chemistry, which is our revision chapter. So it would be quite easy for you all to do because it's a revision chapter. You have done quite a lot in class 7 and also in class 8. And second is study of gas laws. So to begin with, I thought that it would be easier if we start and continue with language of chemistry. So in the language of chemistry, whenever we talk about chemistry, it is symbols, it is formula, it is reactions and all that, right? That's the language of chemistry. We talk in terms of chemicals, right? So there are certain terms which you'll have to revise, you have to learn the definitions. The definitions which you have to learn would be of symbols. These are the definitions we have to underline and you have to learn it. It is of symbols. Well, what does symbol mean to you? Well, a symbol is a short form. It is a short form that stands for an atom of an element. Everyone knows that, right? You all know it. Being in class 9, you all know it. Symbol is a short form that stands for an atom of an element. Like for carbon, C. Like for sodium, Na. Like for phosphorus, P. These are the symbols, so you have to learn the definitions, right? Second definition would be of valency. You have to learn definition of valency in terms of hydrogen and in terms of loss and gain of electrons. So definition of valency in terms of hydrogen is, it stands for the number of hydrogen atoms that can combine with or displace one atom of an element or radical so as to form a compound. Valency is what? Is the number of hydrogen atoms that can combine with or can be displaced by one atom of an element when it forms a compound. Or it is in terms of loss and gain of hydrogen, and it is in terms of hydrogen, and in terms of loss and gain of electrons, the number of electrons lost by a metal so as to form a compound, that is valency. Or for non-metal, number of electrons gained by a non-metal, right? So valency in terms of both hydrogen and loss and gain of electrons. You will have to, both the definitions are given in your textbook. You will mark it in terms of hydrogen and in terms of loss and gain of electrons. Both you will be doing it. Right? In valency, we also have variable valency. Certain metals show variable valency. Well, many of the metals show it, but the ones whose valencies which you have to learn, like which are more commonly asked in the board examinations or which is assigned by the ICSE for your syllabus, certain metals. I'll make a chart. That chart you should know it. That chart I'm making it out here. It's a variable valency chart. It is, I'm putting the valency here 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll write the symbols of those elements which show variable valency 1 and 2, like that, 1 and 3. So very easy to learn. Copper, mercury, silver. Just remember it as a rhyme. Copper, mercury, silver, they show valency 1 and 2. Copper, mercury, silver shows valency 1 and 2. Copper, mercury, silver show valency valency 1 and 2. Right? 3 metals. They show valency 1 and 2. Variable valency 1 and 2. Iron is all alone. Iron is all alone, showing variable valency 2 and 3. Iron, the most abundant metal which is used, like in today's world, is all alone, showing valency 2 and 3. Another one, gold, quite expensive, you can say most expensive, leaving platinum, right? Is but a unique metal, also is unique, shows variable valency 1 and 3. Gold, Au, showing variable valency 1 and 3. Copper, mercury, silver 1 and 2. Iron 2 and 3. Gold 1 and 3. And then the remaining show variable valency 2 and 4, which are manganese, Mn, tin, Sn, Sn is symbol for tin, Sn, tin, platinum, Pt, platinum, and platinum and lead, yes, lead, Pb, lead. So manganese, Mn, tin, platinum and lead, they show variable valency 2 and 4. So you have to memorize it. Copper, mercury, silver 1 and 2. Iron all alone 2 and 3. Gold also unique 1 and 3. And then tin, lead, platinum, manganese 4. Tin, lead, platinum, manganese, they show variable valency 2 and 4. So this variable valency chart would be very helpful because you have to learn valencies. Now once you know variable valency chart which is there, how many valencies you have memorized? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18. For positive ions you have memorized 18 valencies, right? So it's very helpful. So variable valency, remaining whichever we have, they show only one valency. We have covered up here variables. Alright. Now the next definition which you should do here, you should mark it, is of radicals. A group of atoms which behave as a unit and have charge, show positive or negative valency. So you will be learning definitions of symbols, definition of symbol, definition of valency. You should know what is variable valency and definition of radicals. They can be both positive and negative radicals, but the only positive radical which you are going to do in your chart, positive radical, is NH4 positive. Remember, it should have a charge. Ammonium. Ammonium. And for negative, we have lots of negative ones. Many of them. Group of atoms which behave as a unit and a charge is called as a radical. You have plenty of negative radicals. Carbonate, group of atoms, sulfate, number, lots of it. Many. So, when you see the valency chart, which you will have in your language of chemistry chapter, and the chart, the colorful chart is given on the 3rd page of the chapter. Now page number, children, will be different because I have a very old edition book. So yours would be, page number would be different. So it would be on the 3rd page of the chapter, most probably, the valency chart. Now you have more radicals than class 8. Definitely, you are in higher class. So you'll have to learn these ones now. Do not leave any of the symbols and valencies. All of it, any of it can be asked in your examination. They have selected the main ones only. Alright. So these are the terms, symbols, valency, radicals, and you have to learn the valency chart. You know the importance of valency chart? Well, the importance of valency chart I am taking up here is in what? Formula writing. So our next part is formula writing. Children get scared of chemistry because of its formula, because of its balancing, because of its equations. chemical equations. Now children, only reason why you find it difficult because of this valency chart. Think about it in any subject or in any part whenever you are studying it. If you had not done ABCD, could you have written words? Could you have written sentences? Could you have written essays? ABCD is must, isn't it? In mathematics, if you don't know addition, if you don't know subtraction, any calculation would be possible. Tables, if you don't know, will it be possible? Right? No, not possible. So in chemistry, it's not new, children. If you know the valencies, you will be able to write the formulas, any formula, because if this valency chart you have done it, these would be the formulas you are expected to write. Once you know the formulas, balancing is so very easy to do. Now it should be very quick. Now we have less time to think, so formula writing. Once you get used to it, it should come orally. Mentally we'll cross it, right? Formula writing. Say zinc carbonate. Well, I'll be showing you crisscross method, but then you can do it mentally also, no problem. Zinc 2 positive. Positive is always written first as a rule, and carbonate 2 negative. Negative, now next time I will not write positive negative, only I will put the number. Now if they both have the same valencies, it cancels off. 2 and 2 cancels off. So now when we cross it, this one comes here, this one comes here. Formula would be what? ZnCO3. This is all revision, children, right? So zinc carbonate. Now it should be done mentally. Now in class 9, you are not expected to write crisscross method. You are expected to write mentally, calculate mentally. Okay. Ammonium carbonate, ammonium sulfate. Okay. Ammonium sulfate. Ammonium NH4. NH4. NH4, I'll take it, yes. NH4. It is 1 here, and I've taken sulfate. SO4, 2 here. Right? So when I cross it, so for ammonium, the subscript should be 2. So we write it as NH4 whole twice. SO4. Okay, third one. Now in writing names, if the element has variable valency, if the metal has variable valency, there are 2 ways of writing the name of that compound. I am taking example of lead. Lead variable valency 2 and 4. So if it is lead lower valency, lead, the latest one is to write Roman numeral 2 to indicate valency of lead is 2. Lead 2 oxide. And the old way of writing it was, for lower valency we write the suffix us, plumbus. Now it is not leadus, right? It is the Latin name plumbum. So from that, plumbus. Both are same. Plumbus, when the suffix is OUS, plumbus, it represents lower valency of the variable valency. And the better format is, this is the latest one. So you should also remember this one. But it is possible that you can be asked us. But then nowadays ICSE follows only the latest nomenclature format. But remember, if it is lower valency, it would be US or US. If it is higher, it would be IC. I'll write that also. So now let's write the formula of lead 2 oxide. Now lead 2 oxide doesn't mean that lead, this doesn't mean Pb2O. This is not correct. This is not lead 2 oxide. 2 is the valency of lead, right? So how it goes? Pb2 here, right? Oxide 2 here. When the valencies are reducible, we reduce it. Both are reducible by 2. We reduce it. Reducible value. So it is now what is left? 1 and 1. So when you cross it, it would be 1 and 1. 1 as a subscript we don't write. So what is the formula of lead 2 oxide or plumbous oxide? It is what? PbO. Alright. So PbO is lead 2 oxide. Now I am taking the next one, lead 4 oxide. Now what do you think is lead 4 oxide? 4 represents valency of lead, or in the old form of naming, it was read as what? Plumbic. IC for higher valency. IC for higher, IC for higher, US for lower. Right? Plumbic oxide. Now how to remember? Little bit just to remember. When you take hiccups, you rise up, right? Hic, hic. So plumbic means higher. Plumbous means, US means lower variable valency, IC means higher variable valency. Well, so the formula of this. Well, lead 4 oxide. So lead here and it is 4. Lead 4. So 4 is the valency. Oxide 2. Is it reducible? Yes, it is reducible. It is 2 now. What is left is what? 2. So we cross it. And here it is 1. So what is the formula of lead 4 oxide or plumbic? Hiccups. Plumbic oxide, Pb. Well, here the subscript is 1, so it is 1, 1 we did not write. Oxide O2. So this is the formula of lead 4 oxide. Commonly we can also read it as lead dioxide, but that is not, lead dioxide is alright. But from formula writing, lead 4 oxide, plumbic oxide or lead dioxide are all same. Similarly, lead 2 oxide, plumbous oxide or lead monoxide are same. So this is recap of your formula writing. These are the things which you should remember in formula writing. So any formula you can write if you know the valency chart, positive and negative valencies, reducible, crisscross, mentally, and get the formula. So it should be like a dictation. Suppose you are told ammonium dichromate, immediately crisscross and ammonium dichromate should be here. Ammonium chromate, dichromate 2 valency, so it is here Cr2O7. So this should be instantaneously, you should be able to write it. That should be your practice. That is expected from this chapter. Once you have done it, you are expected to write the formulas directly. Okay, so this you will be practicing. Learn the valency chart. It takes time, believe me, it takes time, but it can be done. You have sufficient time nowadays at home, so you can practice it. I'll give you some questions also which you can do to see whether you have understood it or not. Alright, so if we know the valency, we are able to write any formula, any combination, any formula, any positive, any negative combination. Now vice versa. If formula is there, Can we find the valency? Okay, let's do that. So to find valency, if the formula is given to you, especially the ones which show variable valency or with two non-metals. Alright. So now after formula writing, our next heading is finding valency. Finding valency. Alright. So let's see. I'm taking example. Question is, find valency of nitrogen in the following, right? I'll take valency of nitrogen in the following. Very easy to do. I'll take lot of examples. NO. You know its name? Different names are also there. Okay. I'll write the name. It is nitrogen monoxide. Well, I'm writing it here. Nitrogen monoxide. But how we otherwise remember it, it is nitric, because you will be given name as nitric oxide. You have to remember this name, nitric oxide. NO is nitric oxide. In language of chemistry, learning part is a lot. Valencies, names, nitric oxide. In your formula writing, you will be finding it as nitric oxide. Now, how to find valency of nitrogen in nitric oxide? Well, as we'll go in the reverse order. What is the reverse order? For writing formula, we should know valency. Valency is reduced and you get the formula. Now ulta, does the reverse. According to this formula, this is 1 and 1 here. So we go backwards like this. So according to this, valency of nitrogen should be 1 and oxide should be 1, because it is not oxygen, oxide, because it's in the combined form, oxide. But oxide valency is never 1, it's fixed, it is 2. Oxide valency is 2. So that means to make it 2, I have to multiply it by 2. But I can't just multiply this one, I have to multiply this one also. That means as we had reduced here, when we were writing this, this was also reduced. Well, when crisscross we get oxide as 1, but oxide is never 1, it is 2, so we multiply it by 2. Now that makes oxide 2, and what is the valency of nitrogen in nitric oxide? Children, what is the valency? It is 2. Got it? Is it clear? Okay. Well, in the second one, I am taking another compound of nitrogen, N2O. Well, dinitrogen oxide. If the number of it, for 2 it is di, for 1 it is mono, for 3 tri, for 4 tetra, like that. Well, it is dinitrogen oxide. We will be using it was nitrous. Learn this. These two are very important. Nitrous oxide. Okay. So we go to that. How to find the valency of nitrogen in nitrous oxide. Again, backwards. From here it goes here, so it should be 2. From here it should goes here, it should be 1. Now oxide valency is showing true 2, which is correct. It should be 2 only. That means in this compound, valency of nitrogen in nitrous oxide is what? 1 only. So is it clear how we are getting the valencies? Okay, I am taking something else. Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur trioxide. Third one. Valency of sulfur in sulfur trioxide. Okay, again we go backwards. Here it is 1, so here we take it as 1. Here it is 3, we take it as 3. Now again oxide valency showing 1, which is not, now it is not, cannot be. So you multiply it by 2. So this should also be multiplied by 2. Once you know it, you can do it orally also, children. Alright. So now this is 2 oxide 2. So now sulfur valency in this case is how much? 3 into 2. So what is the valency of sulfur in sulfur trioxide? 6. So this is how you will be able to find different types of valencies in the compounds. Oxide valency is fixed, like that some have fixed valencies, so we can easily find it. Well, so in this class I have told you that you will be learning formula symbols and valencies. It's a must, children, just ABCD of chemistry. From symbols and valencies, write formulas, practice that, and back to from formula, how to find valencies. These 2 things we have covered up today. Well, in the question answers of this chapter, there is question number 12. I'll just read the question. It is write the formula of the following compounds. So this should be done by you all. It's a very good practice. This would help you a lot. Question number 12. And when you are doing it, I'll just give you an example. If you will first avoid any shortcuts in that, the first part, you will write potassium, full name, potassium chloride, okay, I'll write potassium chloride, no shortcuts. Shortcuts would not help you. Then write full name, potassium, no ditto sign. The next word is nitrate. So you write full word, potassium nitrate. This should be done in your notebook. You'll make one register, normal plain, both sides do register, potassium nitrate, like that. Third one is potassium carbonate. So potassium full word and the formula this side name and this side formula. So question number 12 is your assignment. Do it, children. Learn the valencies. See you in the next class. Till then. Bye, children. Take care.